Well, good morning. Welcome to our 2017 strategy session. My name is Licky Labji. We have Conrad Klock and Rex Frank online. I'll get them to introduce themselves in just a second here. I'm Licky Labji with the Dante Group. We're hoping to have about 20 people online. A couple of housekeeping rules. If you guys can have your VTO sheets downloaded, that would be awesome. If you have any questions, please enter them into the chat screen, and we'll get to them as soon as we can near the end. Other than that, let's have some fun and get some strategy sessions happening for 2017. All right, Rex and Conrad, let's test the sounds. Can we hear you guys?
Rex is here.
All right, Rex. Yeah. All right, Conrad.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, Licky. Sounds
Perfect.
good.
Thanks. Okay, Rex, you want to take it on here?
Sure. I appreciate all the C-level clients that decided to join today. Quick introduction. I've been working with Licky. He was a client, and a while back, after he sold his company, began working with companies on employee culture consulting and wanted to see how he did. So we took him for a test drive, and C-level was really happy with what he did with us. We'll talk a little bit about that today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rex Frank, founder of C-level Operations. My brief background is I was a tech turned service manager turned service executive. Worked for several large VAR/MSP companies around the Southern California and Seattle area, and about 6 years ago I founded C-level Operations, with a core focus of helping VAR/MSPs improve their operational excellence.
Great, thanks Rex, I appreciate that. Again, I'm Licky Labji from Dante Group. My history is I had a managed service company for just over 25 years. And over the years, over the last few years, we decided that our passion and excitement actually grew from helping other customers grow their businesses. So we actually expanded our managed services company to offer different services. Over the last couple of years, we've really focused on culture, environments, building companies to the next level. We did a couple of different stints in taking a company public, getting some mergers and acquisitions happening. I've started a couple of startups as well and sold them off. So our approach here is to help companies really understand what culture is about. And people say culture is, let's go have a pizza and we'll have a fun time. But it's not all about that. It's all about everybody aligned together and making sure that the success of culture actually makes a business successful. The financials grow, the camaraderie in business grows, the client relationships grow. And we've got Conrad, who's our lead consultant here. I'll get him to say a few words here as well.
Yeah, thanks, Licky. So I'm with Dante Group, and I'm a professional, personal, and business, development expert. I met Licky, started working with Licky years back with him and his MSP company, and together in our partnership, working together, we got him so he could sell that business, and that was quite a great accomplishment. And then we ended up partnering up together, among the common interest to bridge the gap for businesses, take them from where they are to where they want to be, which is basically what Dante is. And I'll be here helping facilitate part of the conversation we're having this morning.
Thanks, Conrad. If you notice on the bottom right-hand corner, we have EOS methodology. That's a methodology we've been following. The book is called Traction, and it's by Gino Wickman. If you haven't had a chance to read that, I highly recommend you guys pick that book up. It's going to basically take what we're doing today and give an expansion of and give it to you more detail. Let's just get started. I know we're a couple minutes late, so I want to make sure that we're on time. Our goal is that about 10 minutes to the hour, we're going to stop and have a 10-minute Q&A. So if you have questions, please go ahead and add them to the chat section, and then we'll get those answered to you near the end. Conrad?
All right. Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to quickly create our intention for you today inside of this, and that is to give you as much value as possible starting off in 2017, and give you kind of the 6 points, the 6 aspects of a business that we feel when these points are running properly, you'll be creating success and fulfilling on your goals inside of your company. So our goal is to give you the tools and some of the strategies and methodologies that we use with our clients, and just give them away to you today as value. And at the same time, that allows us to showcase some of what we do and give you a better understanding of that. So it's just a win-win there, and just and our hope is that you get a lot out of it, and that you actually can, you know, take some solid solid notes, solid actions and points to work on in, you know, finishing up January and to kick off 2017. All right. That being said, if you look at your slide there, you know, what you can see is, you know, I'm sure that any one of you business owners on the line can probably identify with at least one of these issues or problems or things that come up for you inside of your business. Putting out fires and cash flow, red tape, low profit, sales growth. I think if you're like me or any other business owner coming into the year, all this stuff is kind of coming at you from previous years, and these are the things that we really want to address. These are the things that we want to manage and have a better relationship with, and overcome some of these obstacles, at least to a certain degree. They'll always be there, but creating it, and we feel that the 6 points that we're going to talk about today, especially the first point, which we're going to spend a majority of the session on, is going to help you guys with some of these issues, well, with most all of these issues actually, and make a difference in that.
Awesome. So we're going to start talking about your business, and you know, your business is at the, you know, the entire core of your business revolves around you and your leadership team. On an ongoing basis, you're going to see probably about 150 issues that come up. We're going to focus and break down your business into 6 key components. And those components are your vision, your people, the data that you have, the issues that get in the way, some of your processes, and then traction as well. And Conrad, do you want to talk a little bit about this as well?
Sure. So, like I said, we're going to be spending the majority of today talking about the vision component of the business, just because that's the fundamental key where everything starts, and excuse me, the rest of the business and all those aspects get built off of that point. So. That's really the beginning of the conversation, and we will then move through the other points in the probably second half of the call. So yeah, I think that's, you know.
Let's get on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna again, if you guys can bring out your VTO sheets, I just want to talk about that for a couple seconds. The first page on the VTO is the vision sheet. Vision section, and the second section is attraction. You'll notice there's 8 shaded sections, and those are the 8 questions that we're going to go through today in the vision tool. And those 8 sections are: what are your core values? What is your core focus? Your 10-year target? Your marketing strategy? Your 3-year picture? Your 1-year plan? Your quarterly rocks? And your issues list. Let's break this down a bit, and you know, if we start talking about your core values, the idea here is to really crystallize your vision. I'm going to get Conrad to talk about the actual core values, but the vision section crystallizes who you are as a company. It pinpoints everything what you guys are about. You live up to it, you pass it, you live it, you deal with it on your employees, your customers, your vendors.
Yeah, great. So just like Licky said, it really is, it's who you are. And you know, the reason that we're going through this is it really helps define a lot of things in your business. You know, for those of you that have core values, it'd be interesting to do a poll. If you have core values that your staff know of, that's the key thing. Your staff know what your core values are. Just type yes in the box there. We can do a little quick poll and see how we're doing on that aspect of this part. But what's critical is you know, the core values allow you to hire and fire your staff basically based on and your customers. And what I mean by that is you get to see the kind of people that you have. Do they value integrity? Do they value fun? Do they value leadership? Those different values get you the right kind of people that you're looking for. And most often what we see in businesses is they haven't defined really core values, so they have a wide range of different people working there. And I'm not talking about personalities, I'm talking about different kinds of values. And then there's a clash with what you value and where you want the business to go. And you'll know you have problems with those kind of people in your office place. So it's critical that if you don't already have these core values and you haven't already spent some time creating core values, that take some time this year and do that. It'll make a difference. As with everything we go through in this list, the reason that we're going through it is because we'd like you to do it. We think that this is going to make a big difference for you and your business in 2017. So as we talk about core values, mission, vision, target, marketing strategy, you know, if you haven't had a chance to do those things and create those and have those with your team, these are the things that we are recommending to take on for this year.
That's great. Thanks, Conrad. So on your screen right now, you're going to notice some core values, and these are core values that C-Level and Rex came up with. And Rex, I'd love for you to have a quick conversation about what this means to you.
Yeah, well, first I'd like to point out that it wasn't me, you know, as the founder of the company that came up with these. These were developed as a team effort with, you know, pretty much everybody working here had participation and input. So, you know, we worked really hard. You know, it started off, and by the way, you know, the facilitation by Dante Group is what really helped us, you know, number one, be accountable to working on this and getting it done, but number two, you know, prompting us with some ideas and then letting our own ideas and juices kind of flow out. But these are the core values that C-Level came up with, published, live by. All of the coaches that we've onboarded at C-Level as employees have been measured against these values. So, you know, passion. You know, I want to make sure that people just love helping people with operations. That just has to be kind of built in. They have to really need to be want to be teachers. Integrity. You know, there's a line in our you know, in the definition of integrity in ours, it says, you know, we always act in the best interest of our client. And I got to tell you, that's a hard one to live up to, you know, especially when we're issuing a big fat credit memo. But, you know, as I'm doing that, I'm thinking about my core value of integrity. This is the right thing to do. And, you know, just constant measurement. As we make decisions, do they live up to these core values? You know, resolve execution is probably one of the biggest words that we use around here. You know, we have to make sure that when we say we're going to do something, we decide that it's a priority and get it done. Profitability, we're not afraid of the word profitability. We're proud of our profits, and we think our clients should be proud of their profits. Powered by people, that's another one that, you know, we're constantly measuring ourselves against. Are we doing the right thing for our staff and our employees here at C-Level? And, you know, continual improvement. But, you know, this list started off with, I don't know, 100 words on it, and, you know, through the facilitation with Dante Group, we got it down and decided, well, that is really the same as this, and no, we don't want that one in there, and yes, that one has to stay no matter what, and this is the list we came up with.
That's great. Thanks, Rex. And, you know, the Powered by People really stands out for me as well, Rex. I've met your team, and you guys have that team that you guys can say, look, we're committed to dealing with all the core values. And, you know, knowing you and working with you for the last little while, you choose your customers as well based on these core values, as well as your partners in your business.
Oh, I'd say that's absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah. The next is our core focus, and Conrad, you going to take this one on?
Yeah, sure. So basically, what the core focus is your vision and your mission. And this is again another critical key component for getting you where you want to be is knowing where you want to go. And we're not just talking numbers here. Obviously, a mission and a vision isn't a numbers thing. That's more when we get into the targeting. However, the mission and the vision is like the end picture, the outcome or the impact you want your business to make, or that you personally want to make. If you're the business owner, you have a personal investment in this business. You want to have it make some kind of an impact out there in the world, and a measurable impact with people, with your community, whatever it might be. And your vision is really, what is that impact? What is that legacy? What is that outcome you're out to create with people in the world and out there? And that's what you're striving for, and your whole company needs to be rallied behind that and heading in that direction and know what it is. First of all, they need to know what it is, and then they need to be behind it. So it's critical to, if you have a vision, then say, well, maybe we should refresh this and bring it down to the staff. And if we don't have one, oh, well, let's create this vision so that everybody has it behind. And this includes bringing in your key players into this. Your upper management, whoever you feel the key people are, and then working it through with your staff. Your mission is more of how you're going to get there. It's not so much like the strategic side of how you're going to get there, but the side of how do you accomplish that with people? How do you provide, or how do you get to that outcome? Dante's vision is to create extraordinary experiences for people, and how we get there is by bridging the gap. So our mission is to bridge the gap between where you are to where you want to be. So it's like an actionary thing, but it's also very inspiring. Like, we know that our job with you guys on the call is to bridge the gap. You came here, you're starting your business, it's 2017, it's the very beginning, and you have an idea of where you want to be at the end of this year, and we're hoping that in this, our mission is getting fulfilled, that we're helping you bridge that gap between where you are to where you want to be.
That's awesome. Thanks, Conrad. So again, the core focus, you've heard terms like mission, vision, hedgehog concepts. These are all the terms, but we say core focus, but that's your gut-wrenching business focus, what you're about. The other thing about the core focus is that there's no shiny stuff to distract you from your focus. A lot of people will have a business plan in place, and they'll focus on one business model, and all of a sudden the shiny object comes in, and they start going towards that. But once you've designed and created your focus, you stick with that. You've got your entire team accountable to that as well. The area in blue is C-level's core focus. And Rex, do you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah. Again, we didn't just arrive at this, because we spent 10 minutes thinking about it. This was a couple-hour exercise facilitated by the Dante Group. We pulled the entire C-level team together for a better part of a Friday to work on this stuff. And, it went through many, many iterations. I want to highlight the importance of having outside facilitation. I don't know that we could have settled on this without that outside facilitation, but we came up with that top one there, to make a measurable positive impact on people and companies, which inspires the industry. Like that, which inspires the industry, that took 30 minutes of group discussion to kind of come to the conclusion that, yes, this needed to be inside of our core purpose. And then, kind of how we're going to execute on that is we drive growth and operational excellence through education and continual accountability. Again, these words aren't just tossed together. There's a lot of structure and thought and write something down. Oh, we don't like that. We want to add this, and just can't underscore how important that facilitation was. And I got to tell you, everybody at the company was part of making this. We love it. We live it. We talk about it in our weekly meetings, especially now while it's recently formed and we're making it ours. And and working hard to live by it.
Thanks, Rex. Conrad, one of the things that we conversed about this with Rex and it came out was, who are we as a company? And that's a great little exercise that you've got that people can try today and maybe put it on paper and see what that actually means to them. You want to talk about that for a second?
Sure. You know what? I think it comes up with a lot of businesses that we work with, and it just kind of comes up naturally as people, as business owners and people in the company and salespeople, don't really know how to describe themselves to others. And they say C-level. Oh yeah. Who are you guys? What do you guys do? And then every time it's a different answer. I'm sure people can relate on this call. You go to a networking event, you're trying to socialize with other people, and every time you kind of say something a little bit different, and it never really sticks right with you. You're like, okay, well, should I say what I said last time? Well, I want to do this, and I think it's good to actually sit down and figure out, okay, what do I say in the case of somebody else? Who are we? Like, what do we do? And how I'd write it down. So if you guys are taking notes over there on the other end. The way that I structure it and the way that I recommend you work it out with your team is to write, we are blank that provide blank for blank. So that gives you an opportunity to kind of just look at, okay, who are we? Oh, we're educators, thought leaders, IT professionals that provide, extraordinary technology services for lawyers and whatever. So, it just obviously made that up off the cuff, but you want to find something that really makes sense for you, and then, like, oh, that kid, that's who we are, that's our characteristics, and getting that. And it really helps solidify things.
That's great. Thanks, Conrad. We'll put that into the chat window so that you guys have that little exercise and near the end of the conversation. So that takes care of our first question, which is core values and then core focus. Now we get into the fun stuff, which is the actual 10-year targets. Now, 10-year target, we say 10 years, but it could be 5 or 30 years, depending on the longevity of your company and where you're at in your life cycle. Some people call this the BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. I'm going to say a couple out there that probably resonate with a lot of you. Land a man on the moon by the end of this decade and return him safely. That was JFK. Microsoft, a computer on every desk and in every home. I think both of those have been achieved. You think about it, so these were created with this big goal in mind, really not attainable, but possibly doable. So you create that big goal to reach forward, and that's what we're asking here to do, is just create a 10-year target that is out of this world. A lot of people make the mistake of saying, hey, let's take today and multiply it by 10, that's going to be a 10-year goal. That's easy to do. You're going to reach that. Let's go above and beyond what that means. And here's one that Rex and his team came up with, and I loved it. I mean, we spent a little bit of time trying to figure this one out. And Rex, you want to talk about yours?
Oh, yeah, I'm so pragmatic. It's difficult for me to think about things in abstract and far in the future, right? But I'm very, very comfortable with what we came up with here, which is impact every IT service provider in the world and successfully establish 5 different verticals. So the 5 different verticals is, and we don't know what they are yet. We just know that not only IT managed service providers need this operational assistance, so we're going to start to dabble in the near term, which we'll talk about a little bit later, in other verticals that may use ConnectWise or something like that. And so
that's great.
Anyway, yeah, but we believe that through our efforts in education and working with ConnectWise and HTG that we can create processes that get embraced by every company, every IT company in the world.
And Rex, your core values and your core focus will get you there, because you can't just create this BHAG or a 10-year target without those 2 in hand. Those 2 in hand actually make this almost doable and achievable, because you've got the right people, you've got the right processes in place to make it happen. So you've created something that's actually doable, but we're still not 100% reachable. So you're aiming a little bit higher for that. I love that. And the other nice thing is that once you have this detailed out and it's hanging on your wall, everybody in your team, not only your leadership team, but everybody in your business is aligned to getting you there.
I don't remember who said it, but I really believe it. It says that somebody said the danger is not in aiming too high and missing the target. The danger is aiming too low and hitting it.
That's right. Isn't that true? Conrad, do you have anything to say on this one? Or you're good.
No, I just to add that because it's a big, hairy, audacious goal. It's meant to be inspiring and kind of charging for the company. So it shouldn't be too serious. It should be more of an inspirational, and but that everybody can get behind.
Yeah, was it Nike that says it said crush Adidas? So it was actually fun. And I think Yamaha said something like take over Honda or something like that. So these guys are, they're making it fun, but they're also making it reality. Let's get down to what your marketing strategy looks like. And again, your marketing strategy is based on, where you're at, what you're doing, where your focus is, your three uniques, the proven process, and the guarantee. Let's talk about your marketing strategy as far as your efforts go. You've got to be laser focused around your sales and marketing efforts, and everything based on your core values, your core focus. You laser focus on that only, and then you work towards it. Choose what your target markets are. You can have 3, you can have 4, you can have 1, but whatever they are, just be the best at those target markets. In the IT world, we tend to go for everyone out there who has computers, which is great, but you're probably doing really well in certain market. In distribution, same thing. You could probably distribute to a lot of different industries out there, but you probably have a handful that you're doing really well with. Find out why you're doing it well, and then really, really figure out how to market those. So that's where your 3 uniques come in. What are you good at? Why are you so good at it? How do you deliver it? The next one is guarantee. If great at that. If things don't work out well, Rex's guarantee is we're going to credit that. Domino's, 30 minutes or less. Now, mind you, they've taken that away. But you've got to look at a guarantee that makes sense to you and make sure you can stand behind it and it really means something to the consumer. Proven process. We're going to share our proven process near the end of this conversation, but have a proven process that you can talk to your target market about. This really gives you a clear go-to-market strategy. Detail that out. I'd really recommend you sit there and go through this little exercise, and it'll give you, as a business owner or as a salesperson, some ideas on what to talk to your company about. Sorry, Rex, do you want to just talk about your marketing strategy there?
Who we are.
Right. So, we know we're focused on helping companies with their business process, and we're operational experts. And we also know there's a lot of one-to-many informational programs out there, like True Methods and the ConnectWise blueprints and many other things. But what makes us special is the fact that we do the one-on-one coaching, and we're not going to compromise on that. We're focused on helping people figure out how to make it work in their business, and
awesome.
So all of our efforts are going to stay centered around that.
Awesome, well done. Now, if you look at your next sheet, which is your, actually not the next sheet, your first sheet on the right-hand side is a 3-year picture. You'll notice at the top, you've got future date. So I'd love to write down what my future date is. So 3 years from today, January 22nd, 2020, what will my 3-year picture look like? What your revenue is going to be at, what's your profit margin going to be at, and how are you going to measure that? Now list down what it actually looks like for you. Go down to the entire list of that. These are your, I call it 3HAG. It's your 3-year highly achievable goals. You can reach it, and you will reach it following this process. You've got the right people in place, you've got the focus, you've got the culture, and it's all possible. I would recommend you start doing 5 to 15 items, putting it down, what your 3-year will look like, who you want to be with, which customers you want to have, what kind of a company do you want to be known for, anything that's important to you as a company. Write those down and start achieving for those, and start aiming for those, and start working towards that. This 3-year picture makes it really important for your 1-year plan that we're going to talk about, and then the 90-day rocks we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes here. Here's some examples of what Rex has got, and Rex, I'll talk to you about that. You can go ahead and talk about that a bit.
Well, yeah, so we've decided that we want to look into 2 new verticals over this next 3 years. We're not sure, again, we're not sure what they are yet. We have coaching revenue growth targets, just to kind of give you an idea how that's based. We want our October 1st billing to exceed the previous year's billing, which would be kind of right around that 20% compound annual growth. We're looking to get to 10 full-time employees within 3 years. We have a back office service where for some of our clients they decide it's not highest and best use of their time to do time entry review and timesheet review, and is this time entry covered by the agreement or not. So we have some professionals that are doing that, creating invoices, managing, getting procurement ported into QuickBooks. So a lot of that back office kind of stuff. So that's kind of what that means, and we've been growing that little niche side of our business as well. So we have some goals specifically around that. So far, 2017 looks like we're on target for all of that.
That's great. Well done. Now we get down to what's nitty and gritty, the 1-year plan. What next January 31st, 2018 will look like for you. And this, again, is a very highly achievable goal. This is on the second page of your traction sheet, of your VTO sheet. It says traction. And we say traction because this is where your traction starts. You're starting with the 1-year goals, writing them down. This isn't the resolution. This is actually what you're going to achieve, you're going to hit, and you're going to make it happen. Highly recommend you write down your 3 to 7 must-get-dones for this year to reach your financial goals, your employee goals, your profits. Without, what I look at is, if you look at your entire exercise we just finished, we're doing right now, your core focus, your vision statements. If you look at opening up your morning calendar based on living those core focuses, core values, and then you've got your 1-year plan, there's nothing that can get in your way. You've got to stick with that routine. A lot of us go into these shiny objects. Shiny objects are good, but we'll talk about that in a second. That's a great visionary conversation to have, but the shiny objects get in the way of actually following your business plan. Once you have this laid down, you actually start talking to your leadership team. Your leadership team and yourselves put this together. Then you share it with your team. Your team knows exactly what the goals are. And when we write these down, these are company rocks, or company visions, or company plans, but each individual person within your leadership team will have their own, and each individual team member will have their own as well. And we can talk about that a little bit later as well. Rex, do you want to talk about a little bit about your 1-year plan?
Well, yeah, I mean, we started with the 10-year, right, and then said, okay, so what do we have to do in 3 years to achieve that, and then, what do we have to do in the next year to achieve that? So again, we worked the math backwards to, determine what our revenue goals are, and part of achieving that is what we need to do with marketing, and what kind of industry events do we need to attend, and what do we need to do for asking client referrals, and then a big piece of being able to deliver that revenue is, having more coaches onboarded. So a big piece of that is continuing to work on our coach onboarding program so that we're distributing the C-level brand and messaging to the way it's being delivered to our clients, and so each of these line items are gone from strategic goals, and kind of at the 1 year level we're trying to boil them down to the tactical goals that we need to achieve, and it's so awesome that it creates clarity that what's most important for us to be working on to achieve those goals. So this is sort of how we've broken that down.
That's great. One of the things that I'd recommend is, in our industries, or whatever industry you're in, plan out the year, plan out the trade shows you have to attend, plan out what kind of employees you have to have at the end of the year. Detail all those things out so that you're actually following that process. I know we do that every year. We've been doing that for many years, and it actually pays off. You can sit down at the end of the year and say, look, this is why we're growing the business. This is what the actions we have to take, and you actually achieve that. I can't remember who the author of this was, but they basically, it said, successful business people or entrepreneurs on January 1st detail out their holiday schedule for the entire year. This is no different. You detail out your entire business process for the entire year. Now, we talked about rocks. I'm going to just give you a bit of an analogy what rocks are. What rocks are. Rocks, imagine you've got a glass in front of you that's empty, and then next to it you've got rocks. Next to it you've got gravel, sand, and then water. The rocks are things that you have to get done in the next 90 days. You've got to get them done so you can reach your 1 year and 3 year goals and eventually your BHAG. The gravel and the sand are your day-to-day operations, your line of business applications, or whatever you do as a service delivery. Those are your gravel and your sand. The water is the day-to-day stuff that happens that you have no control over, customer issues and everything else. If you were to take that glass and fill it up with water first, and then the sand and the gravel, the rocks will never get in there. The gravel may not even fill up that glass. But if you start filling up that glass with your rocks first, then the gravel, sand, and then the water, you will achieve your rocks and your 1 year vision. You should actually try that exercise one day if you get a chance and look at that. What that really means is your rocks are so important that you actually have to deal with that on a daily basis. You've got to calendarize it. You've got to make sure it happens. So these are 3 to 7 items that have to happen in the 90 days to make sure that you reach your 1 year goal. It's really important to crystallize what your rocks are. Detail them out. It's not a task list. It's a big action items. You'll start talking about what's in your way. We're going to talk about issues next, but write down what you have to do. A lot of people say, I don't have the time, or my employees are in the way. Perfect. Table that, put it into the issues list. We can deal with that after the fact. Really detail out what you have to do. It's either hiring a person, hiring more staff, doing more marketing, letting go of somebody, whatever that is. Deal with those things at a very strategic level and detail those out. Right, you've got your 3-month, your 90-day rocks here. I'm going to hold you accountable in front of everybody right now. We met late last December. Where are you at with your rocks right now?
Well, the cool thing is everybody knows what their rocks are. And by the way, you said 3 to 7, but how many would you recommend per person for a 90-day outlook? For people, 5 to 7 for people for sure, because if you have companies that are 3 to 7, they're going to have multiple tasks for those people as well. These are company rocks, then you're going to break it down to employees as well. 3 to 5 leadership, probably 5 to 7 for employees. Yeah, so I'm operating under the number 3, and no person should be involved in any more than 3 rocks. But anyway, so we got different people working on, there's 5 listed here, but there are different people that have it as their rock. I am pleased as punch, by establishing it, talking about it in our weekly meetings, and creating that accountability point that each individual needs to state what they've achieved, and if there's anything in their way on achieving the rock, just kind of keeps it on top of mind. And with that accountability point, I'd say we're just knocking our way through these things. So pleased as punch.
Excellent. One of the things that we do recommend is that this VTO sheet, as you fill it out, have it posterized, like make it really large and post it in on your walls, especially your 90-day rocks. Those, everybody has to see it. They've got to live it. They've got to deal with it. This is where you create a 90-day world. So every 90 days, you're creating new rocks. You have a level 10 meeting. We can talk about that. We're going to send you some links on level 10 meetings as well. Those level 10 meetings actually make you successful to follow through to make sure the rocks get done, and then the next quarter, the next rocks get done as well. Now, as we're talking, you guys can all relate to this. Where, okay, how do I do this? What's in the way? This is in the way. That's in the way. Well, perfect. This is the sheet. This is the section where you actually list out all your issues that are in the way. It's almost therapeutic. Get it out of your head, put it on paper. Now, there's a list here of 10. If you need to create a spreadsheet for 20 or 30 issues, but then you can sit down and figure out what your majority of the issues are that are getting in your way. You may have 15 or 20, but you'll only have 2 or 3 that actually need to get dealt with to achieve your rocks and one of your goals. Rex, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, some of the issues we were faced with, like that first one there, coming back from IT Nation, there was a ton of demand generation done, and then we had all these, hot leads that needed discussions. But if you've been working with C-Level, our calendars are already jam-packed with all of our delivery calls. So we had to, and we did. We confronted it head on. Hey, this is a real issue. And as a team figured out how to work through it, and I think we're pretty successful. We did convert a lot of those IT Nation leads into revenue for January and February. So that's what's putting us on track for achieving those the revenue rocks there. Again, we always think we have more time than we do, and it's so easy to make a commitment in a sales meeting. Yeah, I could work on that this week, and then next thing you know, next week's sales meeting is right on us, and have we made the time to get it done? That's a real issue.
Okay.
And there's obviously others, but those are probably the 2 that we struggle with the most.
And the key is you roll them down, now you're dealing with them, and you're creating action out of it because of those issues. And you resolve those issues, you're going to hit your rocks in your 1 years as well. So we spent a lot of time on this first section, and this is the key to your business. And this is where you align your team to answer all 8 questions, and it ensures everybody's on the same page. Conrad, do you want to take this on?
Yeah, the only thing I just want to say about this to wrap up the vision portion is to say, like Rex had said, is that the benefit of having outside sources and setting up the time is really beneficial. I mean, we're giving you this, you can take it away and use it absolutely. I mean, that's, go for it. But it is really beneficial to have the whole, your whole key people there and have that time set aside, and then have it kind of be moderated in a sense and facilitated to a way that you guys can all come to agreement, like what's your 10-year goal, what are your 3-year goals, and everybody's in alignment and in agreement with what they are. And that's a critical component, because sometimes what happens is the owner of the company will just make the goals up and then go, here are the goals, here is the vision, here are the values, and there's no buy-in. There's no, it can land flat, or people can even be resentful for, why wasn't I involved in this process? How come my voice wasn't heard? So it's critical to create that involvement with the team. So I just wanted to put that in there and try not to make it have it be a total solo project.
Awesome, thanks, Conrad. We're going to just whiz through the next 4 or 5 sections here. Now, keep in mind, everything that we're talking about moving forward relates to your core focus, core values, and your big goals. So any decisions you make have to go based on that. So your people, you've got to have the right people on the right seats. You've all heard of the On the Bus project, Good to Great. It's a great book. Pick it up if you haven't had a chance. But it's all about having the right people on the right bus. There's a tool called GWC. G stands for you get it. You get the culture the company is about. You understand what they're about. You're willing to work it. The W stands for willing. You're willing to work in that company, making sure that the company's successful. And the C is a capacity. You've got to have all three to have the right people. There's also a tool of People Analyzer that we'll give you a link to. Download that as well. You've got to really figure out who your people are and where they sit. Once you figure that out, you're on your way to your actual rocks and your BHACs. Most companies, talk about organization charts. We've changed that into accountability charts, following the EOS model. Most companies, or actually every company, will have a sales and marketing division, an operations division, and a finance division. The operations may get split into two. You may have service delivery and then internal operations. Within that, you've got a person who's called the integrator, also known as the COO, operations manager, etc. But we highly recommend you start using the word integrator, because that's the person who integrates the major functions of the business. And this is how you get the right people in the right seats. Lastly, you may or may not have a visionary. Most of the times, the owner is the visionary, where they come out and say, look, here's an idea I've got, can we make this happen? And it's kind of like the shiny object syndrome, but they're always looking for the newer, better things for the business, which is great. That's how you grow the business, but the integrator runs the day-to-day operations. So you've got to work, the visionary and the integrators have to be totally aligned. They've got to have a meeting, we actually call it a same page meeting on a monthly basis and a quarterly basis, that they're totally aligned, so that the visionary can come up with all these ideas, and the integrator knows exactly what has to happen, and then he works within his accountability chart to make sure that the visionary's ideas get executed, if it's possible. The visionary is a person with lots of ideas, is very creative, is great with culture and relationships, but the integrator is the person who makes sure it's executed. They're all executed. A couple of issues with people. You've got the right person with your values, but they're in the wrong seat. I'm sure you guys can all relate to that. If you're a small business, you try and do everything within that environment, and you may or may not succeed. But go back to the GWCs, go back to your core values. Issue number 2, you've got the right seat. The person is talented and has the ability, but they're the wrong person. That means they don't have the culture fit, but yet you're keeping them around because they're actually making revenue and they're doing a good job. But at the end of the day, they're actually, it's cancerous to the company. You want to make sure that the wrong culture of people are not there, or you try working with them. They're actually doing more damage than good. The data side of things, there's a little scorecard that we'll be able to send you a link on, and that's 5 to 25 measurable numbers. It's customized to your company. Things like number of sales, financials, goals of the week. This creates a culture from accountability. We talked a little bit about issues, but this is where you start really getting down, writing down your issues for your entire company, making sure that you get good at solving the issues. And the way you do that is you identify the issue, you discuss it, and then you solve it. When they say discuss, it says no politics. It doesn't mean you get caught up in that whole discussion about, hey, this person's doing that person's not doing that. You actually discuss the root cause of the problem, and then you solve it. A lot of companies will identify it, they may discuss it, but they don't put a plan in action to solve the issues. If you start doing that, it's called IDS, you'll actually get successful in resolving some of those issues. Processes. This is one of our favorite topics. A lot of companies start spending a lot of time on processes. They do 80% processes. We recommend look at your main 6 functions of your company and just do at least 20%. Now, if you have a line of business application, like in the IT world, you've got ConnectWise, or you have an accounting application, you may need to do a little bit more on that. Document your HR processes, document your marketing processes, sales, operating, accounting, customer service. Rex, do you have anything to say about your side of the processes here?
Yeah, I mean, I could spend days and weeks and months talking about process. That's what we do. But the most important thing I want to reinforce with everybody is anytime you're going to change a process in the company, it's going to upset people. And the way we help manage that is with the, those C-level 5 phases. Number 1, understand the best practice, learn how other people are already successful in whatever that process is. And there's a ton of resources for that in our industry, including C-Level. The second one is take all that industry best practice and make it yours and document it to whatever your company way is with Word documents, Visio documents, spreadsheets, whatever it is that you need to do to create clarity of how your company does business on that topic, get it documented. Phase 3 is train your team on those processes. Phase 4 is, notice Phase 4 comes after Phase 3. Phase 4 is implement the changes, and that comes after training, and I see that done in the wrong order a lot. And then Phase 5 is have some way to measure and inspect what you expect. Are people following the new process? And then the thing I see not happen in nearly all cases is when somebody's not following it, don't just verbally tell them that they're not following it. Refer to your published documentation of how they're supposed to be doing it. It blows my mind constantly when I'm working with clients that we've worked on and published and trained and implemented things, and 2 years later, somebody's not doing it right, and I ask them where to find, can you bring up the published document, and they don't know where it is. They don't even know that it exists. And that's because we're not referring to our standards and holding people accountable to our standards nearly enough. So go ahead, Nicky.
Great. No, that's great. Thanks, Rex. I mean, you are the king of processes, and I love working with you in our company. I mean, it was your processes that turned our company around as well, so I appreciate that. Lastly, this is it. It's attraction. Thomas Edison, he said, vision without execution is hallucination. We say, vision without traction isn't going to happen. Rocks is your top 3 to 5 items, your do's, your individual rocks. You meet with the team every 90 days, put it all together, put all these 6 components together, you will have a successful 2017 and the upcoming years. Conrad, do you want to just wrap that up? This is the EOS model.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Licky. You know what I really just kind of took off of what Rex had said was really perfect. I think one of the critical things about all of this, especially that vision section we talked about at the beginning, and even the process, the rocks, is that that once you solidify and create that solid vision and those rocks and that mission and those values, and then you create documents that support and fulfill those things. And like Rex was saying, once those are documented and you have those and you have them printed, and you can have process documents in your computer, but you can have printed vision, mission, printed. Once you have these kind of printed guidelines and rules of how this company is supposed to operate, then it's no longer nebulous. And just like Rex said, I think that's a perfect thing, is you go to your team and you say, you bring them back to like, well, this is how we do it here, or this is who we are, and it's not like you just made it up on the spot. It's been printed, it's known, everybody's seen it, everybody gets it, it exists somewhere. And I think that's a big missing in companies. So I think that's creating that kind of clarity and putting things on paper or in the computer that everybody can see makes a huge, huge difference. And I think that's what this, a lot of this does, is get that clarity and get it solid and get it so everybody can see it and everybody knows it. And that's a critical component.
Awesome. Thanks, Conrad. And this is our proven process. Do you want to just talk about that a bit?
Yeah, I won't spend too much time. Just to let you know, so we said you should have a proven process. Again, part of your marketing strategy, having those uniques about your business, and then having a process. You say, well, how do you provide success for our company? And this is how we do it. We have a 90-minute meeting. Well, this is a 60-minute call with you guys. But what we would have is a 90-minute meeting. Then after that, we have a focus training workshop day. And then a month later, we have a 2-day vision building workshop. And then after that, we do a quarterly meetings, quarterly work days with the companies for a year. And then after that, we say, we've provided the success. That's then you should be good to go on your own. And we train you to take this forward. So that's our model for success. And we recommend that you have one. So that being said, if there is any interest in this or further questions, we're going to take some questions for the couple minutes that we have. But if there's any other questions or you want a more personalized discussion about these topics with us, you can just contact us via email, and we can have a meeting and go with that.
Awesome. On your screen, you'll notice that there is a email address called success@dantegroup.ca. Please email us if you want all these tools sent over to you. There's the VTO sheet, level 10 meetings, the scorecard, the IDS, Meeting Pulse. We'll also give you the Who We Are exercise in that email as well. So shoot an email to us and we'll get that information out to you. And to reach us, we've got Conrad and myself. You can reach us at success@dantegroup.ca, and you can reach Rex at info@clevelops.com. Lastly, we're going to do the Q&A. We've got a couple of minutes left. But before we go there, I just want to say thanks to two key people that have helped put this presentation together for us, Saima and Brittany. Without the two of them, the presentation wouldn't happen, so thank you very much for taking care of all the background stuff. Any questions out there?
You probably need to unmute everybody.
Yeah. There we go. Just say your questions, or go ahead, type them in the chat box.
I heard something, but I couldn't understand it.
Yeah. Can you reach your...
Individuals are now unmuted, but they'll have to unmute themselves in the GoToWebinar app. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Hopefully we shared some good insight with you. I think the key is that, the culture is set by understanding the company mission, vision, values, setting your big goals, getting everybody aligned with those, making sure everybody understands what their role is. And I think when people have a mission, they want to make it happen.
Great.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, hang on one second. Can you read it, Will? Sorry, is this better? Yes, perfect. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody. Now, if you're one of your leadership team and you feel that you've got somebody else on the leadership team that may benefit from this webinar, we have another one on Thursday at noon that we can send you a link for as well. I highly recommend you get your entire leadership team engaged in this conversation so you guys can all build a successful team to achieve your goals. Again, thank you very much. We want to make sure that we're on time for you. It's 11 a.m. Appreciate it. Love your feedback. Any questions, please reach out to us at success@dantegroup.ca. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.